there's no downside to this. There's only upside to this. I think
Yeah.
it's a great move for the university. So Trae Young is the new assistant GM of OU men's basketball. Funny enough, there's actually not a GM.
Yeah.
So he's just the assistant to everybody. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, new assistant
It's
and
the assistant to
assistant,
everybody.
the assistant to the GM, which there is no GM of OU basketball.
Yeah.
There
Pretty
it
interesting.
is.
This is God's work.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
Lord did this. So I have it's Trae Young and that's Jesus, and
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, Trae
dabbing each
Young.
other up.
Trae
That's
Young's cooking with
absurd.
this.
This is the Lord's work. Yeah, I mean, Steph Curry was announced as assistant GM of Davidson, I think like a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I bet you'll start seeing more of a trend of NBA players becoming assistant GMs of their former college teams. But for OU in particular, this is huge because not only did he become assistant GM, he also contributed a $1 million donation
Yeah.
to the OU men's basketball team.
Yeah.
So,
Which is huge.
which is super cool. I mean, Trae Young has done so much for OU and Norman. It's so awesome to see him come back and fill a role like this. And I mean, obviously, he's an NBA player playing a season. He's not going to have an insane amount of time, but the time that he does have to at least call recruits and say, hey, you should come to OU. And I mean, that works wonders. I mean, look what Baker Mayfield calling John Mateer did for us. So
Mhm.
the fact that we have a star, I mean, literally an all-star NBA player, one of the top point guards in the league, um, vouching for us and donating money and helping us get
Mhm.
recruits is pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
God did.
God did.
God did. God
I
did.
think the big question, real quick to address it, is like for a lot of people, is like, what does an assistant GM do? He's in the NBA. He's not going to do anything. He's not going to be at the facility. And they're right, but like just like you said, even if the only thing he does is take phone calls with recruits,
Mm-hmm.
that is a huge boost to OU basketball. I think he'll do more than that. I think he'll scout. I think he'll like help raise money for NIL, help advocate for the school, all those kind of things. But
Well, he also has that team that Sean played for. He has that
Mhm.
like Trey. It's like Buddy Buckets. Remember Buddy Hield? But he has like a Trae Young team. So
Yeah.
that could help in recruiting too. Like
That's
you get
facts.
some raw guys on your Trae Young AAU team. Well, now Trae is like, hey, you should go to OU.
Yeah, you're
And
not wrong.
it could be like a feeder program to OU, which they're already raw. I mean, could you imagine we get recruits from there? I
Mhm.
mean, it's a perfect system set up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, no matter how little of work he actually does, like even if he doesn't even get a team issued iPad, there's no downside to this. There's only upside to this. I think
Yeah.
it's a great move for the university. And props to Trae Young, man. Golly,
Yeah.
I mean, he was just a kid at Norman North, just a kid from Norman, as he would say, just a kid
Yeah.
from Norman. But yeah, he was just a kid at Norman North 8 years ago. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 8, maybe 9,
Probably 9.
but around that time,
9.
right?
Yeah.
Getting paid $0.00. And the amount that he's already given back to Norman and to OU, that athletic facility up by Target,
Yeah.
Yep.
massive recreational facility. He's just given a lot back. I mean, that's not 8 years. I mean, sounds like a long time to be making a lot of money, but like he's still young. He's
Yeah.
still, probably what, 26, 27?
26,
So,
He's a couple years older than us, so
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like he's given a lot back for how young he is.
which is, I mean, I just
Probably.
feel like something that you don't see
No.
as much. Like these NBA, NFL, MLB guys have so much money that they don't even know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like in my mind, the first thing I would do is go back to the place that got me to where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why not go to OU where I built a legacy and kind of, I mean, he was generational, like literally generational here at OU. Like, let me go give back. I mean, and it's not just men's basketball, it's women's basketball, buying tickets for their, sweet or March Madness games, buying 150 tickets, saying
Mhm.
here, just to
Yeah.
put fans in the seats. I'll pay however much money that is. Like that's what I think is great about this thing is like he has been, you see him tweet out all the time about he reminds me of like Gerald McCoy, how Gerald McCoy is for OU football. Gerald McCoy
facts.
is big in OU football, if there's a big time recruit, you're going to hear Gerald McCoy say something about it. So,
Yeah.
and like you said earlier, Colby, like if I'm a recruit and I'm on the line, like yeah, like Porter, obviously you want the good relationship with the coach, but if Trae Young, if I got a call from a random number and it said young Trae on my
Yeah,
iPhone, I would say, bro, that's Trae Young, like
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
who is a however many time All Star, what leading? I think he's the assist leader right now in the NBA, like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm saying yeah, because I don't know how many other schools or the Dukes and all these other people who have great players. I don't know how many of them are having those
Mhm.
guys get on the phone and talk to recruits.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah, it's super cool. Anyways, huge for the university, really big time deal. I'm excited to see what he does and just how much he's giving back is super cool. So,
Yeah.
only upside here for OU athletics.
Weird fun fact is that something I heard is like this wouldn't have been possible if he was still with Adidas. And in November, he switched from Adidas to Jordan, kind of allowing this to happen. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but yeah, I think this is a big deal. I think this is gonna. And then one thing I like about Trey, I think part of the reason he did this is he saw the direction of OU men's basketball and NIL, and I think he knew like we're gonna fall behind in this whole thing when it comes to basketball. We're not gonna keep up, and I think he wanted to step in and do something about that. So I have a lot of respect for him. This is a big deal.